Have you noticed how stories about black bears seem to be coming from places they never used to come from? Maybe a neighbor mentioned one wandering through a backyard at dawn. Maybe you saw a security camera video of a bear calmly crossing a suburban street as if it belonged there. It feels surprising at first, but what if the real mystery is not why bears are showing up now, but why we assumed they would stay away forever? Across many parts of the United States, black bears are moving into suburbs in greater numbers than wildlife researchers have seen in decades, and while it can seem like a sudden invasion, the truth is far more interesting. This story begins not with bears changing into something new, but with bears doing what they have always done. They are following food, searching for safe places to raise young, and adapting to a world that keeps changing around them. For a long time, many people imagined black bears as deep forest animals, the kind of creatures you might glimpse during a camping trip far from towns and cities. Yet black bears are remarkably flexible. They can live in dense woodlands, mountain valleys, swamps, and surprisingly close to human neighborhoods. Their success comes from their ability to learn quickly and take advantage of opportunities wherever they appear. One of the biggest reasons bears are entering suburbs is simple. Food is everywhere. A bear spends much of its life looking for calories. It must build enough body fat to survive winter and support reproduction. In the wild, that means eating berries, nuts, insects, roots, and occasionally small animals or carrion. But suburban neighborhoods often provide something even more attractive. Unsecured garbage cans, bird feeders overflowing with seeds, pet food left on porches, fruit trees dropping apples onto the ground. To a bear, a neighborhood can look like an enormous buffet. Imagine walking through your yard on a summer evening. A peach tree is heavy with fruit. Nearby, a trash bin sits outside waiting for collection day. Nothing about the scene seems unusual to you, but to a bear passing through the area, that yard contains thousands of calories gathered in one small space. It is the equivalent of finding several days' worth of food without having to search very hard. Researchers have repeatedly found that bears quickly learn where reliable food sources exist. Once a bear discovers an easy meal, it often remembers the location and returns. Female bears may even pass that knowledge to their cubs, creating patterns that can continue across generations. Food is only part of the story, though. The American landscape has changed dramatically over the past century. In many regions, forests that were once cleared for farming have grown back. Large stretches of woodland now surround suburban developments. Instead of a sharp boundary between wilderness and civilization, there is often a patchwork of forests, parks, greenbelts, and neighborhoods. For a black bear, this landscape can be surprisingly easy to navigate. A bear may spend daylight hours resting in a wooded area behind a subdivision. After sunset, it can move quietly through backyards and along tree lines while most people sleep. Many residents never realize a bear visited at all. The animal arrives, feeds, and disappears before dawn. Another factor is something that would have seemed impossible to many people a century ago. In numerous states, black bear populations are actually recovering. Decades ago, habitat loss and unregulated hunting caused severe declines in many areas. Conservation efforts helped reverse that trend. Protected habitats expanded, wildlife management improved, hunting regulations became more carefully controlled. As a result, bear numbers increased across parts of the country. This is an important detail because successful conservation creates a new challenge. When populations grow, young bears need places to go. Male bears in particular often travel long distances while searching for territory. A young bear leaving its birthplace may encounter highways, farms, forests, and suburban neighborhoods all within a single journey. Some continue moving. Others discover that suburban areas offer food and shelter and decide to stay. Climate also plays a role. In some regions, changing seasonal patterns can affect the availability of natural foods. A poor berry crop or a failed acorn season may push bears to search more widely. During years when forest foods are scarce, human communities can become especially attractive. Picture a bear wandering through miles of woodland during a difficult season. Natural food sources are limited. Then the scent of garbage drifts through the trees. The bear follows its nose and finds an entire neighborhood full of opportunities. From the animal's perspective, the decision is not mysterious at all. What makes black bears especially fascinating is how carefully they often avoid people despite living close to them. Many suburban bears become almost invisible. They learn traffic patterns. They move mostly at night. They choose routes hidden by vegetation. Studies using GPS collars have shown bears navigating human-dominated landscapes with surprising skill. Some cross roads only during quiet periods. Others rest near homes throughout the day without ever being detected. This creates a strange reality. A bear may know your neighborhood far better than you know the bear is there. Of course, not every encounter is peaceful. Bears can damage property while searching for food. They can become dangerously comfortable around people if rewarded repeatedly. Wildlife experts consistently emphasize that human behavior plays a major role in determining what happens next. A bear that never finds food around homes usually continues behaving like a wild bear. A bear that regularly finds garbage and birdseed begins associating neighborhoods with rewards. Over time, that association grows stronger. In other words, the future of many suburban bear populations is shaped not only by bears but by people. Something else is happening beneath all of this. The movement of bears into suburbs is revealing just how adaptable wildlife can be. We often imagine nature existing somewhere else, somewhere distant and separate from daily life. Yet animals do not recognize the boundaries we draw on maps. They respond to resources, opportunities, and survival. The forest does not necessarily end where the sidewalk begins. If you enjoy exploring stories like this and discovering the hidden lives of animals all around us, consider subscribing to Global Wild Origins. These quiet connections between wildlife and everyday life are often more extraordinary than they first appear. Perhaps the most surprising part of the black bear story is that it is not really a story about invasion at all. It is a story about coexistence. Bears are not marching into suburbs because they suddenly lost their fear of the wild. They are responding to a landscape humans have reshaped, finding ways to survive within it, just as they have adapted to changing environments for thousands of years. That does not mean every encounter should be welcomed or encouraged. Wild animals deserve space. Safety matters for both people and bears, but understanding why these animals appear is the first step toward making wiser choices about how we live alongside them. The next time you hear about a bear wandering through a neighborhood, think about what that animal sees. Not streets and property lines, not subdivisions and zip codes. It sees patches of forest connected by corridors of opportunity. It sees food, shelter, and pathways through a changing world. And perhaps that is why these encounters feel so powerful. They remind us that the natural world is not as far away as we sometimes imagine. It is still moving quietly around us, adapting, learning, and enduring. So if you glance out your window one early morning and notice a black shape slipping between the trees at the edge of the yard, you may be witnessing more than a surprising visitor. You may be seeing a wild animal following ancient instincts through a modern landscape, carrying a piece of the forest wherever it goes.